Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestling Tracks.
This is David Marvel Burton. And I am going to talk about what just happened.
Welcome to Wrestling Tracks.
This is David Marvel Burton. I'm going to talk about what just happened on SmackDown. I have personally just seen one of the best matches I've seen on SmackDown in several months. It was a triple threat match for the United States Championship. Kevin Owens defended against Chris Jericho. Hello, this is David Marvel Burton, one of your new hosts, and I'm going to talk about and start off with what just happened on SmackDown. I have personally just witnessed one of the best SmackDown main events in quite some time. It was a triple threat match for the United States Championship. It was Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, and a returning Chris Jericho. And that match was amazing. Amazing match. The three men used everything in their arsenal. They hit each other with damn near everything. In the end, it was AJ Styles who came away with the win after Kevin Owens hit Chris Jericho with a frog splash. AJ Styles would come in, get rid of Kevin Owens, and pin Chris Jericho to win the United States title for a second time. Kevin Owens, who was angry and enraged, tore up the ringside area and challenged AJ Styles to a rematch on next week's SmackDown, which AJ accepted. And we also just found out that John Cena will face Shinsuke Nakamura for the very first time in what will be a pay-per-view caliber match. And the winner of their match will face Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam next month. To go along with the other matches that are already taking place at SummerSlam, you have the Women's Championship from Raw. Alexa Bliss will defend against the number one contender, Bayley. Brock Lesnar will defend the Universal title in a fatal four-way match against Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe. And then you have the SmackDown Women's title, Naomi defending against Natalya. Me personally, I hope Natalya actually defeats Naomi and gets the win, because she's without a doubt one of the best wrestlers in the company today. And it's a shame that company is not doing more with her. Personally, I feel she should have won a women's championship a long time ago. She's a former Divas champion, held it for a little over 2 months. A little over 7 years ago when she won the Divas title in a handicap match beating Ray Cole. But that was in the past. I also want to talk about what just happened at Battleground. We've seen an unexpected return from the great Khali. He returned and assisted Jinder Mahal and helped him defeat Randy Orton and win the Punjabi prison match, which surprised me because I didn't think Khali would ever return. But Khali's officially back. He's on WWE's main roster page as we speak. So I have no idea what the plans are for him right now, but most likely they're going to have him with Jinder Mahal. I guess he's going to be Jinder Mahal's muscle, so to speak, for the time being. One of the most interesting matches I'm actually looking forward to seeing is this Monday on Raw, the triple threat match. It's going to be Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman in a triple threat match. I'm interested to see how that match is going to turn out. Will we see an appearance from Brock Lesnar this Monday? Honestly, don't know, but Brock is scheduled to make several appearances before his SummerSlam match in Brooklyn on the 20th of August. Interesting, because last time I hosted this show, that was one of the matches I pitched. I had an idea about. I figured that all four of them are going to end up meeting each other in a fatal four-way. And come to think of it, that's exactly what happens. Now I want to talk about Battleground again. Battleground, in my personal opinion, if I had to rate that star-studded show, if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, I would give it a 3. It was passable. It wasn't too much lackluster as I thought it'd be. One of the best matches in the card was the tag team title match between the Usos and the New Day. Those two stole the show. I mean, it was classic tag team wrestling. There were several high spots. Both teams hit each other with their finishers. It was a very, very good match. One of the best tag team matches that WWE's done in a while, other than the NXT stuff. It was a very, very good, exciting match. The flag match was okay, pretty decent. The Rusev and John Cena beat the tar out of each other, but in the end, John Cena came away with the victory. Here's an interesting thing. As I was watching that match and I seen Rusev set up the tables, I said to myself, John Cena is going to win this match. And the finish of this match is going to be, he's going to hit Rusev with an AA from both those tables. And that's exactly how that match ended. John Cena hit Rusev with the attitude adjustment right through 2 tables, and he won the match. And won the match for his country, so to speak. So John Cena beat Rusev in the flag match. Pretty okay, somewhat of a decent match. I wouldn't say it was one of the best matches in the card. Sami Zayn took on Mike Bennett. I thought it was a real short match. Didn't go too long. The match went a little over 7 minutes. And it was a somewhat passable show. I thought Raw was a somewhat passable show as well. I thought Raw was better than Battleground. I'll give that up. They focused the show on Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan. I have no idea where this storyline is going to go. Me personally, I'm against it. I don't see the sense in doing a kayfabe father-son storyline. I don't see the point in it. I don't get it. I'm not for it. So, but it is going to be interesting to see where they go with it and what's going to happen in the events going down the road between those two. Jason Jordan made his Raw debut and defeated Kurt Hawkins in somewhat of a squash match. Then you had Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns get into a brawl. Pretty much had the entire locker room trying to separate the 3 men, but that didn't work. Braun Strowman, who laid out Roman Reigns in the end and walked up the ramp in the segment. The main event was pretty good main event. Miz and his Miztourage was defeated by Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, a little mini Shield reunion. They got along well. They worked together well, as they normally do. Ambrose, who's still showing signs that he doesn't trust Seth Rollins due to what happened a little over 3 years ago, when Seth Rollins turned his back on his brothers, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and joined the Authority. But my personal opinion, I do think the Shield is going to return. I do think the Shield is going to make somewhat of a comeback. Me personally, I don't feel it was an accident that all 3 men got drafted to the same show. So I do think there will be a Shield reunion somewhere down the line. And I also feel, I told somebody about this earlier, I also feel that Sasha Banks will make a heel turn. I feel it. I sense it coming. I'm not sure when, but I see it. I see it coming. I would probably say, if I had to put a time span on it, probably before the end of the year she'll be heel. Sasha Banks has been a face. She's been a great face. But me personally, I think she'll be a better heel. She will be an awesome heel. She would be a tremendous heel. I looked at her reaction. I saw her facial expressions when she lost to Bayley. And that number 1 contenders match, it was a good match, solid match. All their matches are very good, Bayley and Sasha Banks. And Anyway, again, Bayley won the match, and she will go on to SummerSlam, and she will face Alexa Bliss again for the Raw Women's title. Last time the two of them met, Alexa Bliss beat her in a Singapore can on a pole match, and she retained the title, beating Bayley. So maybe Bayley will probably get the win. Then again, maybe Alexa Bliss will retain the title and stay champion and lose it later on this year. Another thing I want to bring up is that I was hoping John Cena did not face Jinder Mahal, and I still hope John Cena doesn't face Jinder Mahal. The guys have been champion 16 times already. 10 times. And if John Cena doesn't put over Shinsuke Nakamura, me personally, I feel it would be a mistake. It would be a massive, massive mistake if John Cena wins, because he's been in the main event one too many times, and right now the company is in dire need of new stars. They need new faces, as many new faces as possible. The guys are getting older, the guys are getting more beat up, and that's what the business needs, especially that company, the WWE. They need more new faces in the main event picture. You know, the same routine of the same old guys is like a revolving door of the same old guys being put in the main event picture. If it ain't Roman Reigns on Raw, it's John Cena on SmackDown. So the only thing we pretty much got in terms of a new face is Jinder Mahal. And hopefully we'll see that with Shinsuke Nakamura. Hopefully he will beat John Cena and go on to SummerSlam and face Jinder Mahal. And you'll have two new faces wrestling for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. John Cena's done a lot. He's been around for a while, but I think there's too much emphasis on John Cena. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Sorry for the slight technical difficulties, but I am back on and ready to continue. That main event, I'm gonna go straight into SmackDown. That just came off the air a little bit over an hour ago. SmackDown was a pretty solid, decent show. I thought the tag team match between Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger defeating Mike Bennett and Aiden English was somewhat of a passable tag team match. It was decent. It was a decent tag team match. Didn't go too long, didn't go too short. At the end, Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn picked up the win over Aiden English and Mike Bennett. And a lot of people were actually surprised by the surprise appearance by Chris Jericho. That was good. It provided somewhat of a shock value. And I am happy to see Chris Jericho back in the fold again after just finishing up his tour with Fozzy and finishing Fozzy's latest new album, which is either set to come out at the end of this year or next year. I know he's also just completed another book. It will be his fourth book that he's done. But anyway, he's back, and he did what he always does best, and that is put on a marvelous, marvelous show. And Chris Jericho is absolutely one of the best in the world at what he does. And me personally, I was like a kid in the candy store being a fan of all three, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho. And right now, I'm going to go back into Battleground real quick and read off the official results from Battleground, which took place this past Sunday in Philadelphia. And the Royal Rumble will return in Philadelphia next year. But anyway, let's go into the results here from Battleground. Now, you have the New Day defeating the Usos to win the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And what I thought was the best match of the card, you had Shinsuke Nakamura defeat Baron Corbin by disqualification. That match wasn't too good. You had Natalya defeat Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Lana, and Tamina in a fatal 5-way elimination match. As stated earlier, Natalya will go on to SummerSlam and she'll face Naomi. If Naomi happens to still be the champion by then, if oh man, what is her name again? Carmella doesn't cash in Money in the Bank. I'm interested to see when Baron Corbin cashes in. But anyway, back to the results. Kevin Owens defeats AJ Styles to win his third United States Championship. John Cena defeats Rusev in a flag match. Sami Zayn defeats Mike Kanellis, formerly known as Mike Bennett. Defeats him in the final match. Jinder Mahal defeats Randy Orton and retains the WWE Championship. Now we go on to NXT. Now NXT has officially signed the ROH former World Tag Team Champions Red Dragon. The duo of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish have officially signed with the WWE. They are both on NXT. I stated for years, I probably said it on the last show, that WWE needs to get those two guys. They need to snatch them up, and they need to snatch them up fast. And hopefully they'll snatch up Adam Cole, who's an amazing, amazing talent. But anyway, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 is the next NXT TakeOver special, which will take place the night before SummerSlam in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. And so far, the already announced matches will be Bobby Roode defending the NXT Championship against Drew McIntyre. Asuka defends the NXT Women's Championship against Ember Moon. The Authors of Pain will defend the tag team titles against Sanity. And Johnny Gargano will face Adrian Almas in a singles match. And that is a total of 4 matches already signed for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Okay, I'm going to give my predictions here. I think Drew McIntyre will go over and become the new NXT champion. Asuka, I don't think anybody's beaten her, so I think she'll definitely go over and retain the NXT Women's Championship. The Authors of Pain, I think they will retain the NXT Tag Team Championships, and I believe Johnny Gargano is going to go over and get himself a victory in Brooklyn. And those are my predictions. And of course, let's go to SummerSlam. SummerSlam will be next month at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Another interesting thing is that this will be the 30th annual SummerSlam. That's right, SummerSlam is 30 years old this year. Man, time flies. Time really flies. I remember the first SummerSlam back in Madison Square Garden with the Mega Powers, the team of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, against the Mega Bucks, the team of late Andre the Giant and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. A long time ago. But I honestly can't believe 30 years has gone this fast. And we're already at the 30th SummerSlam, if you can believe that. That's right, there's already been 4 matches announced. I read through the card earlier. Jinder Mahal is either going to face Cena or Nakamura. You have the Universal title, the SmackDown Women's title, and the WWE Raw Women's Championship will be defended at the pay-per-view. And I also think that they're going to go and have Bray Wyatt take on Finn Balor at SummerSlam in one-on-one. That should be an interesting match. Bray Wyatt against the Demon Finn Balor. I do believe we're going to see the Demon emerge. It's been a while since we've seen the Demon. Finn Balor's alter ego where he wears a face paint. Last time he did that was at last year's SummerSlam when he won the Universal title for the first time. beats Seth Rollins, gets injured, and has to relinquish the title the following night, which sucked. Me personally, I think they could have did Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor because that would have been a tremendous story if you think about it. I mean, you got Finn Balor challenging for the championship he never lost at the same show, the same pay-per-view he won the title in. I mean, that's a very interesting story. He wants to win back the title he never lost at the pay-per-view he won it the year before. But he has to go through the extreme obstacle of the Beast, Brock Lesnar. I mean, that match alone makes for a good story. I don't see why WWE didn't go with that. Me personally, I think that's something the WWE could have done, and that would have been an interesting match, and it would have made for an interesting story. But that's my opinion. WWE dropped the ball with that. They could have done something there. Man, they could have done something big right there. That would have been a very, very interesting match. To see Finn Balor attempt to overcome Brock Lesnar. It would have been a pretty damn good match had the match would have happened. But anyway, that's the old man in the company for you. One of the interesting things I've seen on Raw was Akira Tozawa and Titus O'Neil. I have no idea what the plans are with that. The guy's injured. He's refused medical attention. He doesn't want to back out and not compete, and Titus is trying to do what's best for him. And Titus and him got into it, and Titus O'Neil actually ended up walking out on him, which led to Neville coming out. Tozawa took out Neville, which led to Daivari coming out and attacking both Neville and Tozawa, laying them both out, which led to a match on 205 Live between Daivari and Neville. I missed the match. I didn't see the match. I didn't have time to see 205 Live. But first chance I'll get, I'll check it out. And I'm going to focus on Global Force Wrestling for a second. And this guy, their champion, Alberto El Patron, is just can't seem to leave WWE alone. It's like every chance this guy gets, he's constantly talking about that company as if he has a one-track mind. He's getting himself into trouble. He's getting himself into legal trouble. The guy was recently suspended. Jeff Jarrett goes and handpicks this guy to be the number one guy in the company, and it's not going well. He's not a good fit to be in that spot, and Jeff Jarrett needs to take those titles off of him as soon as possible, and put it on somebody else, because this guy is he's just hurting himself, and he is hurting the company that he's working for. And to make matters worse, I actually feel bad for Paige. Paige, who's with Del Rio. To the best of my knowledge, she is still under contract with the WWE. I know she has participated in several tests to return to the company, and I honestly don't know. I have no clue what they're going to have in store for her, or if she's going to return, or when she's going to return. I do know that the company has done a movie based on her life and her family. The Rock, who's also participating in the movie, and there's several other WWE stars participating in this movie. And it's just not looking good for her. Just her being with El Patron alone is not looking good. It's not looking good at all. And I hope they do something and they get themselves out of that situation. Get rid of El Patron before he does more harm to that company than good. And another thing I want to bring up is that I do know that the WWE, again, will have the Mayhem Classic, which is not on the network yet. I'm waiting to see this tournament. I do know a lot of qualifying matches have taken place. Alondra Blaze, the WWE Hall of Famer, formerly known as Medusa, she has been revealed to also be a part of this Mayhem Classic. She's not wrestling. She will participate in the company as a backstage interviewer. So she will be working with the company again, and it's going to be nice to see her on good terms with the company, participating with the company and being part of this Mayhem Classic, doing backstage interviews. She's happy with that. That's cool. Another interesting story I want to bring up is that Table for Three, I was watching the Table for Three episode with the Four Horsemen. And as I was watching, I witnessed Arn Anderson say something I never actually really heard anybody say. He was talking about in response to a lot of the guys being injured nowadays in the business. And if you haven't seen Table for Three, please watch it. Check it out. It's worth a watch. It's about three personalities talking over dinner and reminiscing and talking about various subjects. But anyway, in the episode I'm talking about Four Horsemen members Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Tully Blanchard. Arn Anderson brings up the fact that he says his reason is that he believes that a lot of the guys are getting hurt is because the guys are not wrestling more. They're not wrestling enough. Back in his day, they were doing double shots. They were wrestling twice on Saturday, twice on Sundays. The WWE schedule is a rough schedule. And it was even worse 30 years ago, 25 years ago. But to hear him say that was just astonishing to me. That shocked me. To hear his opinion and express his views on why a lot of the guys are being hurt today. I actually had to stop and really think about that. It was interesting. It was real interesting to hear. Very, very interesting to hear. And I believe my time is almost up. I'm about to sign off. My name is David Marvin Burton, and I will hear from you guys on the next show. I'm looking forward to Raw. Please watch Raw, watch Table for Three. If you don't have a WWE Network, get the WWE Network. I have praised New Japan Pro Wrestling on the last show. If you do not have New Japan's streaming service, please get it. It's called New Japan World. It's $9.99, the same price as WWE. Check it out. You get to see all of New Japan's biggest shows and the television shows over the last 40 years. You get to see live pay-per-views. And yes, the commentary is in English. The commentary is in English. All the action is called by Don Callis, formerly known as the Jackal in WWE, and Cyrus in ECW, and Kevin Kelly, a former ROH and WWE commentator. This is David Marvel Burton signing off, and I'll see you at the next show.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.